Ukraine needs help to fill its skies with so many drones that it can batter Russia's ground forces and defend itself against Russia's own drone and missile strikes. Europe is responding to Ukraine's call for assistance. The UK and Netherlands have come up with some insane plans to help Ukraine win its war against Russia. Both countries have just joined forces with Ukraine to help President Volodymyr Zelensky's forces smash Russia with more drones than ever before. We start with the Netherlands. On June 24th, the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine announced a shocking partnership with the Netherlands that saw the two countries sign a new deal that will deliver a staggering 600,000 new drones to the Ukrainian armed forces. The agreement was signed under Ukraine's Drone Line initiative, with the ministry stating that the first Dutch drones are set to arrive in Ukraine this year. That deal is part of a wider Dutch aid package worth $740 million, and it'll be accompanied by plenty of other tools Ukraine needs, including 100 radar detection systems. These systems are vital. Ukraine will be able to use them to detect incoming Russian drones, allowing it to better prepare its defenses whenever Russian President Vladimir Putin decides to launch one of his long-range attacks. Also part of the package is equipment Ukraine can use to evacuate its wounded soldiers, which potentially saves the lives of fighters who can later return to the battlefield. Ukraine's Minister of Defense, Rustem Umerov Rov law did the detail, stating my sincere thanks to the Netherlands and personally to my friend, Minister of Defense Ruben Brekelmans, for their leadership and unwavering support. Umerov said when the deal was announced, "This is an example of true partnership and faith in Ukraine." More details come from Euromaidan Press, which says that the Dutch announcement comes mere days after Zelensky stood in front of NATO nations at a special summit in The Hague to tell them that Ukraine can do more with its drones. According to Ukraine's president, his country now has the manufacturing capacity to build up to 8 million drones per year. Its only problem, according to Euromaidan Press, is that it doesn't have the funding to hit that massive number. The Netherlands just changed that, with a massive $740 million aid package. It's just ensured that Ukraine can add 600,000 drones to its numbers within the next few months. Zelensky also met with Dutch Prime Minister Dick Schoof during that Hague visit, with the latter emphasizing his country's desire to continue to work alongside Ukraine in battles against Russian oppression. "We will continue working to ensure justice and to hold Russia accountable for its crimes. This is extremely important for our families, for all of us. I believe it is important for all of Europe and the entire world, which truly respects values, rights, and the law, and this matters a great deal," Schoof said following his meeting with Zelensky. He's not lying. This latest drone package from the Netherlands adds to the $2.65 billion in aid that the country has provided to Ukraine in 2025 alone, with Zelensky also stating that the Netherlands has become one of the world's leaders in protecting Ukrainian lives. According to the president of Ukraine's website, there may also be more coming. According to that same website, the Dutch and Ukrainian leaders also held discussions over future projects that could see them jointly produce drones. Those drones would be based on Ukrainian technology, suggesting that the Netherlands is considering investing in Ukraine's manufacturing base to ensure it can get closer to fulfilling its potential of building 8 million drones per year. Alone, this would be massive news for Ukraine. 600,000 drones arriving in the country is huge as Russia tries to gain momentum through a summer offensive that's targeting Sumy, and Donetsk. But there's more, much more. Just a day before Ukrainians its deal with the Netherlands, Zelensky revealed that it had also signed a similar deal with another of its major European partners, the UK, taking to Telegram to announce the deal. Zelensky wrote, "Today, I had a substantive meeting with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Our main objective right now is to stop Russian terror and force Russia into peace. We discussed the development of defense cooperation. Collaboration in this area will allow Ukraine to receive stable funding for important projects, particularly the production of interceptor drones and long-range drones. There is a good outcome from today's meeting, an additional decision on joint production. I believe it will strengthen both of our countries. Special attention was paid to bolstering our air defense. We also have agreements on this. The key here is the creation of new interceptor and long-range drones. Both serve important purposes for Ukraine. Interceptor drones, as the name implies, are launched into the skies whenever Russia unleashes one of its own long-range drone strikes against Ukraine. They're purpose-built to intercept Russia's Shahed drones, ensuring they're taken out long before they arrive at their targets. As for long-range drones, Ukraine needs more of those so that it can continue to strike deep into the heart of Russia's territory, taking out its manufacturing and energy infrastructure to relieve the pressure Russia is applying to Ukraine's troops. On the ground. Along with this new UK partnership, Zelensky also called for Western countries to apply more pressure on Russia through the use of sanctions. Anything that prevents Russia from building more of its drones or further developing its Oreshnik missile system is a good thing, the Ukrainian president said. If it stops Russia from scaling up weapons production while helping Ukraine to grow its own defense industry, it should be considered. Zelensky's words came in the wake of the UKGOVERNMENT announcing that it plans to invest a record-breaking $470 million into increasing supply of drones to Ukraine in 2025 alone. This represents a tenfold increase in investment. The UK government website says, and will see the UK supply 100,000 drones to Ukraine in 2025. For context, it sent 10,000 in 2024, showcasing that, just like the Dutch, the UK is massively ramping up its drone supplies. That investment is part of the wider $6 billion the UK has pledged to Ukraine in 2025. The UK Defence Secretary, John Healey, had this to say about this new raft of support from his nation. The UK is stepping up its support for Ukraine by delivering hundreds of thousands more drones this year and completing a major milestone in the delivery of critical ammunition. We are learning lessons every day from the battlefield in Ukraine, which British companies are using to develop advanced new drones to help protect Ukraine's civilians and also strengthen our own national security. Healey added that there's some self-interest at play here as the UK works to become one of the world's leading drone developers. Defense is an engine for growth, delivering on this government's plan for change, and this investment will help keep US secure at home and strong abroad, while ensuring the UK is a world leader in rapidly developing drone technology, he said. Coming back to the specific drone agreement from June 23, the UK also says that this marks a landmark partnership between itself and Ukraine. The UK won't just be providing funds to boost Ukraine's domestic drone production under this deal. The UK will link up its defense industry with Ukraine's, allowing the countries to work in tandem to develop new technologies Ukraine can use on the front lines. According to the UK government website, that partnership will see data shared between the countries that allows UK firms to quickly build the types of drones Ukraine needs to confront the ever-evolving landscape of the Ukrainian battlefield. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer also commented on the new deal, stating by harnessing Ukraine's battlefield innovation and combining it with British industrial strength, we are not only accelerating support for Ukraine's defense, we are also delivering security for working people through our plan for change. This agreement is not just about today's fight, it's about building the defense capabilities of tomorrow, together, for the UK. This isn't just about protecting Ukraine today. It's about ensuring the UK is ready for future Russian aggression. So, what does all of this mean for Ukraine? With the help of the Netherlands and the UK, at least 700,000 new drones are going to find their way into Ukraine. Many of those drones will be built domestically, with financial support from Ukraine's partners. Plus, 700,000 may be an underestimate. The 100,000 promised by the UK is part of a package announced before it signed its June 23 partnership with Ukraine. That secondary partnership will lead to even more drones being produced, meaning it's not outside of the realms of possibility that Ukraine has just managed to secure closer to 1 million drones thanks to the UK and the Netherlands. And much of this is thanks to Ukraine's brilliant drone line initiative. We touched on this initiative earlier when speaking about the Dutch deal, and it's yet another brilliant Ukrainian innovation announced in February. The Drone Line Initiative is a relatively new program designed to expand the effectiveness of Ukraine's use of drones among its ground forces and state border guard service, says the Kyiv Independent. The initial phase of the project will see Ukraine focus on 5 light brigades and regiments that have already proven their effectiveness with drones. The 20th Separate Regiment, the 427th Regiment, the 429th Regiment, the 414th Brigade, and the Phoenix Regiment. All will see their drone capability specs under the Drone Line Initiative, which has a specific goal. According to the Kyiv Independent, that initiative will allow Ukraine to create a massive kill zone that stretches 9.3 miles deep and will fundamentally change a war. The Ukraine war is fought on the ground. We know for a fact that the Dutch drones will feed into this initiative. The odds are high that at least some of the UK-provided drones will also go toward creating this kill zone. United 24 Media provides more details, noting that Ukraine's kill zones are special areas Ukraine creates that allow it to detect and neutralize Russian forces before they're ever able to launch attacks. Think of it as a preemptive measure. Using vast quantities of drones, Ukraine sets up ambushes for the Russian troops. It then uses its movements on the ground to funnel Russian troops into its kill zones. Once the Russians are in position, the drones are unleashed. Scores of them descend on the Russians to take out mechanized units and infantry. The number of direct confrontations spent Ukrainian and Russian forces is reduced. Putin's attempts to put pressure on Ukraine fail, with a 9.3-mile deep kill zone. Ukraine could cause thousands more Russian casualties. And that kill zone may become a reality thanks to its new partnerships with the Netherlands and the UK HOWEVER. It's not just kill zone creation that is on Ukraine's mind. There are plenty more reasons why these insane new deals matter to Ukraine. Starting with the most important, drones have established themselves as the Ukraine war's most effective weapon. On June 14th, Euromaidan press reported that drones now account for a staggering 70% of all troop losses on both sides of the conflict. The move toward drones is so massive, the outlet says, that the Ukraine war has ushered in a new era of conflict. Human crude weapons the world's militaries have spent decades creating, including tanks, ships, and aircraft, are becoming increasingly obsolete in modern warfare. Inexpensive and uncrewed drones are both the present and the future. Euromaidan notes that drones have allowed Ukraine to destroy Russian mechanized units to the point where many of Russia's assaults on Ukraine's defenses are now carried out on foot or using unprotected vehicles, such as motorcycles. Ukraine has also used its long-range drones to effectively target Kerusian military targets, Euromaidan press says, including weapons factories, ammunition storage units, and even ships and moving trains, and drone technology is evolving fast. A drone product Saturday is only effective for between 2 and 6 months before new innovations render it almost obsolete. That's why Ukraine's partnerships with UK and the Netherlands are so important. If Ukraine is to stay ahead in the drone war, it needs to be working alongside nations that can deliver new ideas, along with higher quantities of drones. We see that most clearly in the UK deal, with the UK going out of its way to talk about the data-sharing aspect of its agreement with Ukraine. More data means new ideas are created faster. The New York Times expands on this space of innovation. Drones armed with shotguns are now shooting down other drones. Anti-aircraft drones are being designed to take out surveillance drones flying higher in the sky. Larger drones are being developed to serve as motherships for swarms of small drones, increasing the distance they can flee and kill, it says. Every month brings with it new ideas and, thanks to its new partnerships, Ukraine aims to become the country that comes up with those ideas long before Russia. These deals are also important. For a reason we touched on earlier, they arrive at a time when Ukraine really needs the investment. That's according to Zelensky, who published one of his evening video addresses on June 30th to talk about how vital deals like those he's just signed with UK and the Netherlands are to Ukraine. We are preparing very carefully for the new negotiations in Europe, Zelensky told his listeners. Today, I held a meeting with our military and the Minister of Defense regarding drones. There will be more of our own production. Today, we discussed everything related to orders, contracts, and our production capabilities. I will talk to our partners about new investments in Ukraine, in our weapons. The priority is drones, interceptor drones, and drones for long-range strikes. Of course, this is the front line, and of everything our soldiers need on the front lines, everything that really deters Russian assaults. Zelensky's comments come in the wake of reports suggesting that Ukraine needs at least 120,000 drones per month to counter Russia's aggression. That's according to the commander of Ukraine's 429th Separate Regiment of Unmanned Systems. Yuri Fedorenko Renko closing parenthesis. You may recognize that regiment as one of the 5 initial beneficiaries of Ukraine's drone line initiative, and Fedorenko has plenty to say about why that initiative is so vital. Saw in late fall and winter, the enemy can keep launching offensives by using its manpower. So, how long Russia can keep attacking depends on how many soldiers they can recruit. Right now, they are actively recruiting and basically buying people from an uninformed society, Fedorenko said toward the end of May. Because of this, the Russians can replace more than 30,000 to 35,000 soldiers every month. That means we need at least 120,000 drones each month along the entire front. This will give us 2-3 drones for every enemy soldier and help stop their strike and assault operations. His message is simple: Ukraine needs more drones, lots of them. Thanks to the UK and the Netherlands, it'll now be getting hundreds of thousands more drones that, based on Fedorenko's numbers, should be an auto-help Ukraine fend off Russia's advances for at least the next 6 months. That brings us to another reason why these deals are such massive venues. It's not just Ukraine that's focusing on producing more drones. Russia is building millions of its own to fight against Ukraine. On June 5th, the Kyiv Independent reported that Russia plans to build up to 2 million first-person view, or FPV, drones in 2025 alone. That doesn't count its long-range drones, such as its Shaheds, that it's launching at Ukraine cities and infrastructure. FPV drones are used over shorter ranges on the battlefield, and they've proven themselves very effective at taking out tanks and similar armored equipment. Ukraine has been using them to inflict casualties on Russia. Now, Putin seems to have woken up to how effective FPV drones are and has ordered millions to be produced for Russia's forces. Worse yet, Putin has helped in creating these drones. That's according to Politico, which reported on June 5th that Russia is catching up to Ukraine on the drone production front thanks to help from China. Politico quoted Ukrainian Foreign Intelligence Service spokesperson Oleksandr Oleksandr, ROHV, who said Chinese manufacturers provide them with hardware, electronics, navigation, optical and telemetry systems, engines, microcircuits, processor modules, antenna field systems, control boards, navigation. They use so-called shell companies, change names, do everything to avoid being subject to export control and avoid sanctions for their activities, yet officially, China sticks to all the rules, yet only officially. That brings us right back to the deals Ukraine just struck with the Netherlands and the UK. While nations like China work in the shadows to support Russia, Ukraine is determined to counter with official deals designed to maintain its drone superiority. That's what Ukraine's new deals are all about. It knows that Russia is building up its drone capabilities. It also knows that Russia has help from China, which is providing dual-use component to allow Russia's larger manufacturing base to build new drones in record numbers. With its own deals, Ukraine counters that Russian strategy. Thanks to the UK, it'll have new long-range drones that it can use to target the facility Israel is using to build its unmanned vehicles. Thanks to the 600,000 drones promised by the Netherlands, it'll be able to create deeper kill zones that stop Russia's ground advances in their tracks. And as a final benefit, these deals deepen the cooperation between Ukraine and its partners. In the immediate sense, that's good news for Ukraine in its fight against Russia. Looking deeper into the future, it's deals like these that will help Europe, as a collective, fight back against Putin's aggression. And don't underestimate how impactful new drones will be for Ukraine. Just a couple of days ago, Ukraine used drones to eradicate an entire Russian bomber unit deep inside enemy territory. Find out more about that strike in our video, and remember to subscribe to the Military Show for more videos covering latest developments in the Ukraine war.